The rain tapped softly against the windows of a quiet village house nestled between rows of old, moss-covered trees. Inside, a frail woman sat on a wooden chair by the fireplace, clutching a letter in her trembling hands. Her name was Mina, and she had waited 12 years for something she feared would never come. The walls of her home were filled with photographs, memories frozen in time. A boy in school uniform, a young man with a guitar, a family of 3 laughing at a birthday party. All that remained now was silence. Her son, Arav, had left over a decade ago, and with him, he had taken her joy, her pride, and unknowingly, her reason to live. She whispered his name often, sometimes to the photos, sometimes to the wind, hoping it would carry her love to wherever he might be. Every evening, she lit an oil lamp beneath his picture, her fingers brushing the dust away from the glass. "Where are you, Beta?" she'd whisper with a half-smile that quickly disappeared into sorrow. The story of their separation wasn't unique, but the ache it left behind was hers alone. 12 years ago, their home was filled with the usual arguments of a protective mother and a passionate son. Arav had always been gifted with music, a talent inherited from his late father. He dreamed of big cities, of composing for films, of filling concert halls with melodies born from his soul. But Mina feared for him. After losing her husband early, she clung to the idea of stability. She wanted Arav to become an engineer, to find a secure job, to avoid the struggle she had endured for decades. That rainy afternoon, when he told her he was moving to Mumbai to follow his dreams, the walls echoed with raised voices. Words were thrown like stones, each heavier than the last. "You'll understand one day," he said, gripping the doorknob. "You'll regret leaving your mother behind," she replied, turning away before he could see her tears. The door closed. He didn't look back. She didn't stop him. And so began the wait. At first, she expected a call within days. Then weeks. Then months. But silence stretched into years. She wrote a letter 3 days after he left, her handwriting shaky, the ink blotched with tears. She wanted to say sorry, to say she believed in him, to say she loved him more than he could ever imagine. But the letter stayed in her drawer. Every time she tried to send it, fear stopped her. What if he doesn't want to hear from me? She'd ask herself. What if he's still angry? So she waited. She kept the curtains open every morning, hoping to see his silhouette on the road. Every festival, she cooked his favorite dishes and lit extra diyas just in case he returned. But the house remained still. The silence became a habit. Then, one winter morning, her neighbor Ramesh brought news that cracked the walls around her heart. "I saw your Arav in a YouTube video," he said. "He's in Mumbai, big music director now. His name is everywhere." Mina's heart stopped for a moment. She rushed to the local internet cafe and typed his name into the search bar with fingers stiff from age and anxiety. There he was, smiling in interviews, surrounded by celebrities, his fingers dancing across piano keys on grand stages. He looked older, stronger, happy. But he never mentioned her. She spent hours watching him on the small monitor. A mix of pride and pain flooded her chest. He had made it, just like he said he would. But the years they lost haunted her like a ghost. Back home, she opened her drawer and took out the old letter. The ink had faded slightly, but the words still held the weight of her love. She wanted to send it. But she didn't. Then one monsoon morning, it happened. The letter she never expected arrived. She found it in the mailbox, a plain white envelope with no return address. Her name was scrawled across it in the handwriting she'd never forgotten. Her breath caught in her throat as she opened it with trembling fingers. "Ma," it began. "I don't know if this will ever reach you. I don't even know if you still live here. But if you do, I just want to say, I'm sorry. For everything. For the words I said, for the years of silence. I wanted to call you so many times, but I didn't know if you wanted to hear from me. I miss you every day. I see your face in every note I compose. I wish I could go back and do it differently. I hope you're okay. I hope you're safe. I hope you know, I love you. Arav." She held the letter against her heart and wept. The rain outside matched the storm inside her. The years of silence dissolved in that moment, and something in her heart came alive again. That night, she packed a small bag. The next morning, with the old letter clutched in her hand, she boarded a train to Mumbai. The journey was long and filled with thoughts. She imagined how he would look up close. Would he recognize her? Would he be angry? But none of that mattered anymore. Her heart was stronger than her fear. When she reached the address written at the bottom of the letter, she paused before knocking. Her hand hovered in the air. Then, before she could overthink, the door opened. Arif stood there. He was taller than she remembered. His hair had streaks of gray. His eyes widened when he saw her. "Ma," he whispered, barely believing it. She nodded, too choked to speak. He stepped forward, tears streaming down his face, and embraced her tightly. In that moment, 12 years of pain disappeared into the air. They didn't speak much that day. They didn't need to. The silence between them now was soft, healing. Later, they sat side by side on the couch as she handed him the letter she had written all those years ago. He read it quietly, wiping tears from his face. When he finished, he took her hand in his. "I kept waiting for you," she whispered. "I was waiting too," he said. Over the next few weeks, they found a new rhythm. She moved into a small flat near his studio. He visited her every evening. They cooked together, laughed at old stories, watched the rain through the windows like they used to. One evening, he invited her to a concert, his biggest one yet. She sat in the front row, her heart swelling with pride as he walked onto the stage. Before he began, he spoke into the mic. "I want to dedicate this performance to someone very special. To the person who gave me life, and whose love followed me even in silence. This one's for my ma. For the letter she never sent, but that I felt in every heartbeat." The audience clapped, unaware of the storm that had just passed between two hearts that had waited far too long. As he played, Nina closed her eyes and smiled. The silence was finally broken. And in its place, music, pure, forgiving, eternal.